Building something with your own two hands is truly amazing. You feel such a wonderful sense of pride when you complete a project. A bookshelf that you build yourself is incredibly special. It holds more than just your favorite books. It holds your effort and care. This feeling of accomplishment is genuinely wonderful and lasts a long time. Every single time you walk past it or use it, you will smile. It is a fantastic way to add a deeply personal touch to your home. You made it, and that is something really worth celebrating. This unique joy is one of the biggest reasons to start building. It makes your living space feel even more like your own. Store-bought bookshelves are often made in standard common sizes. They might not fit perfectly into the unique space you have available, or perhaps they just do not match your personal style or decor. When you decide to build your own bookshelf, you decide everything. You can choose the exact height, the perfect width, and the ideal depth. You can also pick the precise number of shelves you need for your items. You can even design special, unique features if you want to. Maybe you envision a specific color or a particular type of beautiful wood. Your bookshelf will be truly one of a kind, designed just for you. This level of customization is a huge advantage for home builders. Buying new furniture from a store can sometimes be very expensive. Building your own bookshelf can often help you save a good amount of money. The cost of wood, screws, and other supplies is usually less than a finished piece. You get a high-quality, sturdy item for a significantly lower overall cost. Plus, along the way, you learn valuable and practical new skills. You learn about different tools and how to use them safely and effectively. You also learn about various types of wood and how they work best. These newly acquired skills can be used for many other future projects. It is a wonderful investment in yourself, your abilities, and your home. Learning to build things is a truly rewarding and enjoyable journey. Building your very own bookshelf might seem a little bit hard at first glance, but please believe me, it is much easier than you might think with good plans. We are going to break the entire process down into simple, easy-to-follow steps. You absolutely do not need to be an expert carpenter to begin this project. Many people just like you begin their DIY journey with simple projects like this. This helpful guide will walk you carefully through each and every part. We will cover essential topics like planning, measuring, cutting, and assembling, and we will also talk about how to make your new bookshelf look truly great. So get yourself ready to create something wonderful and useful for your home. You can definitely do this, and I promise it will be a lot of fun. Good, thorough planning is always the most important first step in any project. Before you even think about picking up any tools, you really need a solid plan. Think carefully about where your new bookshelf is going to go in your home. Consider what kinds of items you want to store on its shelves. Will it be holding heavy, large encyclopedias or much lighter paperback books? This important decision affects the overall design and the materials you will choose. Having a clear and detailed plan makes the entire building process much smoother. It helps you to avoid making frustrating mistakes later on in the process. Take your time with this crucial stage. Its importance cannot be overstated. A well-thought-out plan is truly your very best friend in building. Now let us talk about the importance of measuring everything very carefully. First, you need to measure the space where the bookshelf will ultimately live. Check the available height, the width, and also the depth of that area. Write all of these important measurements down so you do not forget them. Next, you will decide on the final dimensions of your new bookshelf. How tall do you actually want it to be, and how wide should it be? How deep do the shelves need to be to comfortably hold your books? Think also about the spacing you want between each of the shelves. Remember to always double-check all of your numbers for complete accuracy. Accurate measurements are absolutely key to ensuring a good and proper fit. Once you have all your measurements, it is time to sketch out your design. It does not need to be a fancy, professional-looking architectural drawing at all. A simple, clear sketch helps you to visualize how it will look when finished. Make sure to label your sketch with all the important dimensions on it. This sketch will then help you create a comprehensive list of necessary materials. You will need to know exactly how much wood you are going to need to buy. List the number of shelves, the side pieces, and any back pieces required. Also, think about the screws, wood glue, and any finishing supplies you might need. Having a complete list makes the shopping trip to the hardware store much easier. This way, you are much less likely to forget anything important at the store. There are many different types of wood that you can choose to use for your project. Pine is often a very good and popular choice for beginners in woodworking. It is generally quite affordable and relatively easy to work with. Other woods such as oak or maple are stronger, but typically cost more. Plywood can also be an excellent and practical option for the back panels. When selecting your wood, try to choose pieces that are straight and have few knots. For the screws, make sure that they are the correct length for your wood thickness. They need to be long enough to hold all the pieces together securely. Wood glue is also important as it adds a lot of extra strength to your joints. Gather all of your tools and supplies together before you start cutting any wood. Safety is always without a doubt the most important thing in any building project. Before you start cutting any pieces of wood, please take a moment to think about safety. Always wear safety glasses to protect your precious eyes from flying dust and debris. If you are going to be using any power tools, carefully read all the instructions. Make absolutely sure that you understand how they work before you turn them on. Keep your work area clean, organized, and tidy at all times. This simple habit helps to prevent unnecessary trips, slips, and accidents. Work in a well-lit space so that you can see everything clearly. Take your time with each step. There is absolutely no need to rush the process. Safe building is happy building, so always remember these important safety tips. Now it is finally time to start cutting your wood pieces for the bookshelf. Refer closely to your detailed plan and your carefully prepared material list. Measure each individual piece of wood very carefully before making any cuts. Use your pencil and a square to mark exactly where you need to cut. A perfectly straight cutting line is absolutely crucial for a good snug fit. You can use a traditional handsaw for cutting if you prefer, or a circular saw or a miter saw can make the cutting process much faster. Whatever cutting tool you decide to use, always aim for straight, clean cuts. For the best precision, try to cut just on the outside of your marked line. Take it slow and steady while cutting to achieve the best possible results. With all of your wood pieces accurately cut, the assembly process can now begin. You will typically start by building the main frame of your bookshelf structure. This usually means attaching the shelves securely to the two main side pieces. Lay one of the side pieces flat on your sturdy work surface. Carefully mark where each shelf will go, using your plan as a guide. Apply a good quality wood glue to the edge of a shelf piece. Then, position that shelf carefully against the marks on the side piece. Use clamps to hold it firmly in place while the glue sets, if you have them. It is very important to drill pilot holes before putting in any screws. Pilot holes are small holes that prevent the wood from splitting when screws go in. Once the shelves are firmly attached to both of the side pieces, check for squareness. Your bookshelf should stand up perfectly straight and not wobble at all. You can use a carpenter's square tool to check the corners for a true 90-degree angle. If it is not quite square, gently adjust it before the wood glue completely dries. Next, you can add a back panel if your bookshelf design includes one. A thin piece of plywood or hardboard often works very well for this purpose. Carefully measure and cut the back panel to fit the back of your bookshelf. Attach it securely with small nails, staples, or short screws around the perimeter. A back panel adds a significant amount of stability and rigidity to the structure. Your amazing bookshelf is now really taking its final, recognizable shape. Now that your bookshelf is fully assembled, it is time for the finishing touches. Sanding is the very first step towards achieving a professional and smooth look. It makes the wood feel wonderfully smooth and prepares it for paint or stain. Start with a medium grit sandpaper, something like a 100 or 120 grit paper. Sand all the surfaces, including the edges and any sharp corners thoroughly. Always try to sand in the same direction as the wood grain. This simple technique helps to prevent scratching the surface of the wood. After this first round of sanding, carefully wipe away all the dust. Then switch to a finer grit sandpaper, perhaps around 180 or 220 grit. This second sanding will make the wood feel incredibly smooth to the touch. Once your bookshelf is beautifully sanded, it is ready for some color or protection. You can choose to paint it or stain it, depending on your personal preference. If you want a solid, opaque color, select a good quality wood paint. Apply thin, even coats of paint for the best and smoothest results. You will likely need to apply 2 or possibly even 3 coats for full coverage. Make sure to let each coat of paint dry completely before adding the next one. If you love the natural beauty of the wood grain, then use a wood stain. Stain enhances the natural patterns in the wood and adds rich color. Apply the stain evenly with a brush or a clean, lint-free rag. Wipe off any excess stain after a few minutes following the product instructions. Beginners in DIY projects often make a few common, understandable mistakes. One frequent issue is inaccurate measurements or slightly uneven cuts in the wood. This can unfortunately lead to a wobbly, unstable, or crooked bookshelf. To avoid this, always remember the rule: measure twice and then cut once very carefully. Another common mistake is not using pilot holes before inserting screws into the wood. This can cause the wood to split, especially when working near the edges. Forgetting to sand the wood properly can also negatively affect the final look. A rough, unsanded surface will not take paint or stain very well at all. Rushing through the assembly process can often lead to weak joints and instability. Take your time, be patient, and check your work frequently as you go. Building your very own bookshelf is a truly fantastic and rewarding achievement. Take a moment to step back and look at what you have created with your own hands. It might not be absolutely perfect, but it is uniquely yours, and you made it. Each project you complete helps to build your skills and your self-confidence. Do not ever be afraid to try new things and to learn as you go. Even if you made a few small mistakes along the way, that is perfectly okay. Mistakes are simply valuable learning opportunities for your next exciting project. Enjoy your new, beautiful bookshelf and the immense pride that it brings you. Keep building, keep creating, keep learning, and most importantly, keep having fun. You are now officially a DIY enthusiast, ready for many more creative adventures.